Now, the results have been declared and the electorate has spoken. We speak now to citizens to give us their views on the outcomes of the elections. Joining me now, Themba Masango, Secretary General of the Civil Society Organization, Not In My Name, and Hammanskraal Community Activist Dumizulu Nkwanyane. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you very much for your time and joining us tonight for this conversation. After a highly contested election, it's very clear from the citizens, but also from the voter turnout, that citizens want a degree of change, a degree of not doing the same things as the previous at least 27 years. Now, Themba, are the people in Tshwane ready for the normality that will now be a coalition arrangement that will come out from, I don't know which combination is actually going to be coming out of here, whether it will be a ANC combination, ANC EFF combination, or an ANC with smaller parties combination. From likelihood of it, they would need at least a number of seats there, close to about 33 seats to be able to form a government. What do the people say?
Thanks, Tav, so much for having us tonight. And, these elections are proving that indeed, democracy in South Africa is really at work. And it also shows us that, anything is possible. And I think for residents, and I think I speak on behalf of the everyday person, that people don't care right now who's actually at the top, who's going to be mayor or not, as long as there's going to be clear service delivery, as long as there's going to be clear accountability, as long as there's going to be clear leadership, where we know that it will be safe to walk the streets of Mamelodi at night without fearing for your life, knowing that if you are in Hammanskraal, if you open the tap, you'll have clean drinking water, knowing that, gender-based violence and femicide in this country of ours will actually come down, and that the powers that be will actually take it serious, that we cannot afford to have women living in fear on a daily basis. For us to actually know that, when we switch on the lights, that lights will be on. So for the everyday person on the ground, they really don't care, really, whether it's, the DA, the ANC, the EFF at the top of running the city. It's whether that, we are going to be having clear services, the roads are going to be working, there's going to be security, there's not going to be potholes. And, the great thing about this election is that it sent out a clear message to the entire, body politic, that what is important is service delivery, and what is important is to put the people first. Failure for you to do that, you will be punished at the polls. As you can see that, even the two major parties, especially the ANC, has suffered greatly at the polls this year. And, it speaks to a democracy that is clearly at work. Yeah. The only disappointing thing is that we could have had more people voting and had a clearer mandate for those who are going to lead. I'm
going to come back in a moment to get your views on what a workable solution is. But Dumizulu, talk to me about what your thoughts are, right? Parties, by and large, some of them were in the DA, now in Action SA. They've all agreed that they have failed the people of Hammanskraal in terms of general basic service delivery, particularly when it comes to the issue of water. Now, does a coalition government of small parties address that? Is that the ideal solution to service delivery?
Good evening, Tavo. Good evening to the viewers at home. Look, I think in this past term of a coalition governance between the DA and the EFF and other smaller parties, coalition governance has proven that it's not going to work in South Africa, because we've seen parties that only wanted their ideologies to be forward, rather. So, look, I'm not hopeful that coalition governance will work, because practically it is proven, because all the parties that are in the council, in the city council, would want their ideology to be the one that comes forward. So, look, the people have spoken. Democracy is at hand, is playing. It has proven that democracy is working in South Africa. So what we are hoping for is for whoever is going to come into a coalition governance will hear the plight of the people from Hammanskraal, which is water. We are not asking for much. We're just asking for clean drinking water. For me, for my parents, for my neighbor, to walk to their tap and run the tap and drink from their tap. As for those who were in the DA and now in Action SA, we know that they failed. They failed us. Even the former MMC of Utility Services has at one stage acknowledged that he has failed the people of Hammanskraal. So we're just hoping that those who are going to come into this new coalition will hear the plight of Hammanskraal, which is clean drinking water.
Yeah. Themba, what's a workable solution here? I mean, Action SA has rejected a coalition with the ANC downright. EFF has a list of demands that could rule out any chance of actually concluding an agreement, for example, with the ANC or even with the DA. They've even, for example, said what we're left with in Tswana is a conundrum that could possibly lead to a racist coalition governing Tswana between a DA and a Freedom Front Plus. That's their words, not mine. What's a workable solution here?
Look, it's clearly a big headache that is facing political parties at the moment. I think what they should be doing is showing leadership right now and saying, guys, what matters most is for us to bring forth, proper service delivery. Let us make sure that at the end of the day, whoever we decide is going to lead us, these are people that are going to put the people ahead of them. And a workable solution is one that it remains to be seen, because there are clear ideological differences when you speak about perhaps the DA and the EFF coming together. There are clear ideological differences there. The closest that you probably could find would probably be the DA and the ANC actually finding some working solution, working together there. Because they seem to be closer on a lot of other issues, and other smaller parties are too small to make up a government for these parties. But there's bigger things to look at. There's other metros that they've got to look at. They've got to look at whether, if they do get into bed together, how is it going to bode for them going into the 2024 elections. So there's a lot of variables to consider at this time. However, what I think is that they should do their best to put the politicking aside and make sure that they are putting the people in front and say, listen, amongst us, who is the best qualified to perhaps lead in a situation where it comes to water? Who's the best qualified when it comes to finances, and so on.
I like what you're saying. I mean, Dumizulu, as we wrap up the conversation, what Themba is raising, a fight for corruption and hiring the best people for the job. Would you say that is an ideal situation for service delivery for the people of Tswana?
Look, I think now the only thing that is left for whoever is going to lead Tswana is to look for the best qualified people to lead. Let's put politics aside. For the past 27 years, we've seen politicians fighting for positions, whereas they forgot the mandate. If we go back now and look at section 1152, if I'm not mistaken, of the Constitution, it just simply says, give services to the people, identify a need, a basic need, then prioritize it, then put forward a budget and attend to whatever that is needed to be attended. Like, for example, we know, who doesn't know that Hammanskraal has water issues? We just need them to put the water crisis in Hammanskraal as their priority. The first thing that we need them to do now is to solve the water. I'm like, we're just asking for water.
Do you think they'll be able to solve it at least in the next 6 months, whoever comes in?
Wow, what a question. What a question, Thabo. What a question, because I think we've made all the noise. I might be seen as someone who's been trolling these leaders, but I'm just an activist. I'm trying to speak on behalf of our people, but I can't answer. I don't know. They failed for the past 5 years. So, and experts have come forward to say the water crisis in Hammanskraal can be solved within 6 months. So let's just give them a benefit of the doubt. Let's just give whoever comes in and say they're going to solve the water crisis and trust their weight. Because for now, democracy have spoken. We are going for a coalition. We're hoping that whoever is going to be in that council, they'll hear the plight of the people of Hammanskraal. For that question, I don't have an answer for that.
Gentlemen, let's leave it there. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming through. Dumizulu Nkwanyane, the Hammanskraal community activist there, as well as Themba Masango, very known for his activism with the Not In My Name movement.